So, like I'm pretty sure many of you are going through similar situations in life where you've gotten to that phase in life where you are ready for a change. Maybe life hasn't gone exactly how you expected it to be. Maybe you're at a point where you definitely didn't see yourself going to be at either. And maybe you are ready to make some changes. Guess what, my friend? I'm with you. With that being said, my name is Antoine, but you can call me Twan. Reason being is because this is my YouTube channel called AM TWON, where we're going to be taking a leap of faith and taking new adventures. So, reason for this channel. I'm going to put on my life where I'm ready for a change, and I'm ready for it now. Why now? That is a good question, but before I get to the why now, let's talk about the before to get to now. So, way back when, way back, sometime ago, my mom moved here. I was at a young age, though I am still young compared to old people's standards or older generation standards, because to an older person, you're always going to be a baby, no matter how grown of a man I am, I'm still going to be a baby to somebody. So, moved here early age, so was raised in Boston from a young age, and honestly, I didn't really fit in. I really didn't. I was a little different, and I got bullied. I got picked on. I was picked on and bullied in the back of the bus. I had a neighborhood bully, which was horrible. And to make matters worse, I lived at home with my mother, who was abusive. So I grew up in a partial Latino and a Caribbean household. So it was a little rough. And so, with the abuse at home, the abuse on the streets, the abuse in school, I had a hard time. And so I grew up with a lot of issues, just all this confusion. And that confusion turned into just energy that I use in the negative sense. Now fast forward, now past those times are over. I promise you, I've cleaned up. So in a sense, I use my abusive background as fuel. I had some issues growing up. I had some issues with confidence and self-image. My mother told me that I was never going to amount to nothing. And then, she'd say other things that made me feel bad about myself. So I spent more than half my years, growing up, trying to prove her wrong. So I filled myself with different jobs, opportunities, people, finances, all this type of things. And still wasn't enough. It was good, the little things you acquire along the ways, it was great, it was great, it was nice, it felt good, but it was almost like a drug, whereas when I had one accomplishment, I needed more. I was constantly burning through opportunities, not in a bad way, in a good way, in a good sense, just because I was trying to find something, what I failed to realize was I was trying to find part of me. Now I already found who I was as a person, but there was also part of me that was still somewhat shattered or missing. There was a void that I couldn't fill on my own. And so I spent many years acquiring things, getting different jobs, and I finally got into corporate America. Woohoo, corporate, you know what I'm saying, corporate. Especially being a young black individual, I felt good about myself, being in my early 20s and getting into corporate is something that wasn't always a well-known thing in my neck of the neighborhoods. And so I decided, I'm going to go for it. So I've been doing finance for the past 10 years, and let me tell you something. I am in a place where I never expected myself to be. You understand? I'm over it. I fantasize about the corporate life, and I realize this corporate life has sucked me dry. I spent many years trying to invest my personal energy and time and effort and blood and sweat into somebody else's dream, and I realized I didn't do anything to plant my own dream. So over time, I feel like I sold myself. I stopped pertaining to things that pertain to me, to who I was, to my personality. At some point, I realized I didn't have any joys anymore. I didn't know what my joys were. My joy was just to come home and relax. And for a man who's single, don't have any children, educated. I should not be living like that, you understand? I should not be living like that. So, fast forward, the pandemic hits, right? 2020. Boom! Now we're all working from home, even though I kind of already been working from home before that. But, you know, we're all working from home, whatever, and I got time. I got the one thing that I'm pretty sure a lot of us complain about not having, and that was time. A lot of us complain about not being able to do certain things because I don't have enough time. I had time now. I had a lot of time besides work. I had a lot of time, so I figured, you know, I'm going to use this time and I'm going to reinvest and rebuild myself and start my journey of happiness, or my pursuit of happiness, should I say. So for me, I knew that there were certain things that were missing from my life at the time being that I really need to reinvest in myself with. That was very first thing was spirituality. Growing up, I spent my adolescent years into my teen years in the church. People's Baptist Church, to be exact. People's Baptist Church of Boston. At the age of 16, I was baptized, and shortly after that, I kind of ran astray. Like I said, I got distracted. I put distractions in my life, and you know, I thought I was doing the good things in my life. Now that fast forward again, I realized again, like I said, I need to rebuild my spiritual journey, and so I decided to go. One day, I decided to stop making excuses for myself. I woke up one Sunday morning and said, I'm gonna go to church. So that's what I did. I went to church, and guess what? I've been going ever since. And I promise you, I have been a part of more ministries at the church than I ever imagined I ever do. You understand? But that's what they said. You gotta keep busy. You want to stay around. So anyways, besides that, I wanted to get back into arts. You know, I love arts. I love expression. Growing up, I used to love poetry. I used to write all the time. I used to draw. And through various events in life, that kind of pushed me back. I kind of stopped doing those things, and I realized I needed something. I needed art because that was part of my soul. That was part of my, you know, who I am as TWON. So I decided I want to get back into art. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I realized, okay, I need a new way to express myself. And then all of a sudden, it just dawned on me, you know, photography. I love photography, but growing up, I just didn't have the type of finances to invest in a camera. So now that I'm putting my life right, definitely could. I said, you know what, 2020, I'm gonna do some things, right? I'm gonna get me a camera, saved up, got me a camera. I said I'm gonna get me a laptop so I can edit. I got me a MacBook Pro. I told myself, you know what, I still got things to do. You know, I'm rebuilding my spirituality. I'm getting back to my artistic side. I'm like, what more can I do? At the time being, I was living at my mom's house. I had moved back to my mom's house a few years prior to her brought with some issues that she had physically, with some health issues that she was having at the time being. And so it just kind of made sense to help her out by moving back home. And that would kind of help me financially too. Even though I was technically still paying rent while I was with my mom. That's a different story. Anyways. That the situation didn't quite work out for me. I decided, you know what, I had to go. So I did. So I moved out again. So here we are. But to be honest with you, even being where I am now, I'm willing to move again. This time, I'm willing to make a more drastic move. One that I've been wanting to do for a very, very, very long time that I haven't done. Only because out of fear, like I said, growing up, a lot of times, you know, that lack of confidence from my upbringing does play a lot into my adult life. And now I'm gonna put in my life where I'm done. I'm done with that fear. I am done with that fret, that anxiety. You know, I've meditated over these things. I've talked to the higher power about these things. We've had conversations about these things, and thanks to him, you know, he is delivering me, and he is removing those fears from me. And now I'm ready. Now that I don't have those fears anymore, I have this confidence. Now I'm ready for this new change in my life, and this new change starts here with you. So, with that being said, I am starting my vlogging journey. I am TWON. So, I want you to join me. If that sounds like something you want to do, come on by. Overall, what I plan on doing is discussing a few things with photography, car channel situations, and definitely this new journey that I'm planning on pursuing. I'm definitely hoping to meet a few of the individuals who may be going through some life situations like me. Maybe you're ready for a change. Maybe you're already made that change. Maybe you have some good tips, some advice you can give me. Maybe I can give you some tips and advice. Maybe we can exchange and be friends. So what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, with that being said, you guys, I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Hopefully you'll be here for the next one, and let's get it.